What is going on, all you Pokemon collecting maniacs out there? This is Ryan, the Pika Pika Papa, and it's that time of the month for us to talk about the 10 cards that have been selling with the highest degree of velocity on TCGPlayer for the previous month. And I cannot overstate how impactful this is. First and foremost, you should know this is information provided by TCGPlayer. We don't scrape the internet, we don't have some hidden formula. Like, this is TCGPlayer sending this out to us and saying you guys need to be paying attention because these are the cards that have been selling the most on our website. And the other thing that I want to say is why I think this is such a cool video series and why it's so impactful is because we've been doing it since 2023. So what we did early in 2025 was we did some back testing. We looked at cards that were on the list in 2023 and 2024, and we looked at how they've performed. And I'm going to tell you right now, this list is very predictive of future card price performance. And think about the why behind that. The only things that drive price here in the Pokemon space is supply and demand. And when you think about the buying and selling volume on TCGPlayer, it's massive. So whenever cards are selling at such a high degree of velocity on that already massive website that they make it to this list, you know the demand is absolutely through the roof. Now, the other thing I've done over time is I've tried to make this video easier to read and more impactful. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the system that I've put together. The cards that are applicable, they are going to have yellow stars at the top. That indicates how many consecutive months a card has been on this list. If you're on 2 months and you fall off one, no continuation. You have to start all over again. The other thing, when we did that back testing, we found that cards that were on this list 3 or more times throughout the course of a calendar year outperformed their peers significantly. So what I do now is I keep track of that, and I do this 3+ hero sign for all of the cards that have been on this list at least 3 times throughout the course of 2025, because again, at least in 2024 and 2023, those are the ones that had huge performance over the long run. And of course, we're going to look at the cards and we're looking at how they have moved in terms of pricing, but I also like to call out how either the booster box or the Pokemon Center exclusive Elite Trainer box, depending on if it's from a specialty or regular set, how those prices have moved as well, because that's really important. So lots of cool stuff. I promise you there's all kinds of fun stuff to learn, and if you get into this, if you have fun, if you're enjoying it, hit that subscribe button or give us a thumbs up. Those 2 small things go a long way in helping my small channel out, and I really appreciate it. So before we get about what's on the list, we always talk about what has fallen off the list. And as you can see, we have some pretty cool cards that are falling off. Now, I will say the Stained Glass Legendary Birds card was a bit of a surprise. It made it 2 consecutive months on this list. It didn't make it to that coveted 3 months. Maybe it'll pop back up again in the future, but I think we might be done with the run here. Again, that just goes to show you when you talk about, even awesome cards like this, it had enough juice in the tank to make it there 2 consecutive months, didn't make it to 3. So it wouldn't qualify for that 3+ heroes. So that tells you how hard it is for cards to actually make the list. But obviously, we got some cool cards that have fallen off. I mean, these are some really, really bangers right here. And, I'm not surprised to see some Destined Rivals cards fall off the list. But what I am surprised of is there's only 1 Destined Rivals card on this entire list. Traditionally, we see a little bit more representation of the newer sets, especially a set as big as Destined Rivals. But we'll have to see how that plays out long run. But the one that is on here is absolutely fire. Speaking of absolutely fire, I thought this was a really cool card to have on the list, and this is the Vaporeon VMAX. Now, this is a promo card, and if you remember, this came from a box, and the box had Evolving Skies in it, okay? And this was a box, I used to buy them from Walmart all the time, and there was a Vaporeon, a Flareon, and a Jolteon version, and they were really, really hot. I mean, these things were fantastic, but if you look at how that sealed product is done over the last year, look at how the price has appreciated. It has gone absolutely nuts, and we all know that we're in the middle of evolution mania. Although Prismatic Evolutions is absolutely getting its tail kicked right now, I promise you it is going to turn around at some point. Evolutions are not going to lose their favor. It's not like they're become unpopular. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the long run. But this card right here, again, look at what it's done over the last year. This card has absolutely crushed it. Yes, it hit that irrational high like a lot of cards did in February, early March, but then it came back down, but it is starting to gain ground significantly. You can see that over the last week, as a matter of fact, about 50 copies of this card was bought. So really cool card. The artwork is fantastic. Matter of fact, I wish that some of our promo cards that we see in the boxes had artwork like this. I mean, but all 3 of these different variants were absolutely on fire. So really, really cool card. And I don't set the order. I do them in order, like 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I thought it was very interesting that this one was positioned here because the very next one is another promo card. Obviously, it's the Eevee, not the Evolutions. But what's interesting about this one is this is the Pokemon Center exclusive stamped variant. Now, if you you look at Pokemon Center exclusive stamped promo cards that come from those PC ETBs, most of them are absolutely crushing in terms of price. But as I said a minute ago, Prismatic Evolutions is not carrying a lot of favor right now, and this card is down to $51. This is one of my absolute favorite cards right now to pick up. I think this thing is a complete and total steal. I love the artwork on it. I love the exclusivity with that Pokemon Center stamp right there. I mean, look, even the Pokemon Center exclusive ETBs have dropped significantly versus where they were earlier. Now they were super high, coming in at like $350, $360. They've worked their way down. $257 is not cheap by any means. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, that is multiples above MSRP, but I just felt like this box still has room to run. I feel like this card still has room to run. And I think Prismatic Evolutions is kind of being overshadowed right now. And obviously, if a bunch of people are buying this card and the price is still coming down, that's an even better sign as far as I'm concerned. Now, next card on the list right here is the Squirtle card from Stellar Crown. And this is our first one where we have some of the really cool markings on it. This is in that 3+ hero list. It will be interesting. It's obviously not a special illustration rare, just an illustration rare. Stellar Crown is not what I would consider one of the top sets in the Scarlet and Violet era, so it will be interesting to see what this card does long term. But this is, as far as I'm concerned, I mean, you got a couple cards that are fighting up there at the top. You got the Terapagos, right? You just got a couple cards in Stellar Crown. I think one of them is going to have to take the lead, and I think the Squirtle is going to be the one to do that. It's been on here 3 consecutive months, which is a good sign. And look at what those Stellar Crown booster boxes are doing. Even though this is the quote-unquote chase card coming in shy of $54, that booster box is up 110% over the last year, coming in at $225. It is just absolutely phenomenal to see this type of booster box price growth this early in the Scarlet and Violet era. It just goes to show you that whole supply and demand thing is completely out of whack right now. The next thing we're going to talk about right here is a card that I really, really like. This is the Charizard from Obsidian Flames. It has been on this list 4 consecutive months. It is obviously a 3+ hero. Again, Obsidian Flames, when you look at how those booster boxes are doing, coming in at $246 is an eye-watering number for a set when the Charizard right here is your big chase card. And again, it's coming in at sub $60. It's coming in at $59, but there is a lot of interest in this card. This is not like, when I was trying to think about it, I was trying to do a comparison. Like, obviously the third set of the new eras traditionally have a Charizard in it. We've seen it time and time again. Obviously, you know, Darkness Ablaze really fell flat, but the thing that I like about this, I think the artwork is more engaging. I think the gem rate is abysmally low. When you talk about the worst gem rates in the Scarlet and Violet era, all of them are bad. Obsidian Flames and 151 were the absolute worst, which I think is going to help those raw cards over time. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens to this card. Obviously, a lot of market favor, a lot of buying and selling, and it's got a Charizard name at the top. It's going to be really, really hard to defeat it. So be interesting to see, again, what happens to this card over the long run. Next one on the list, another Charizard. Again, I just talked about 151 and how the gem rates were low. I've talked about this card a lot on this channel. I am a huge fan of this card, sub $200. I just think that the opportunity for growth here is phenomenal. Look at what that Pokemon Center exclusive Elite Trainer box is going for right now. $762. It is... It's almost beyond words to say that that is actually selling. And when you look at its sales volume, it's actually selling at that price. It's just wild. I don't know. Very rarely am I at a loss for words, but that price on that Pokemon Center exclusive ETB is just wild as far as I'm concerned. So you got the Charizard here, obviously a 3+ hero. Obviously, I'm a big bull on the long-term prospects of this. Obviously, a lot of people are buying it. And it's been on here 4 consecutive months. So really, really cool card. Now, the next one we're going to talk about, you're going to see a run of 151 cards. And if you've been watching at the beginning of every single month, I share with you, the items or cards or whatever I'm going to be spending my money on, my investment picks for the month. 151 was not only featured this month, it was featured the previous month, and that's because I think 151 is on this like cusp of breaking out. Obviously, we're almost at the 2-year mark. Traditionally, once you get to the 2-year mark, you don't find a lot of the product out there in the wild. There's no hard set rule, but that's just how things have traditionally flown in the past. So if we start to see less and less 151 in the wild, we've obviously seen the demand for the Pokemon Center exclusive ETB. I think these cards are going to be a fast follow, and I do believe 100% there are going to be multiple $100 cards in 151 on the long run. This is the number 2 card sitting at $65. Obviously makes me think there's a lot of upside. So it's a 3+ hero. It's been on the list multiple times throughout the course of this year. It has actually been on here 4 consecutive months. So tons of market demand, tons of love for this card, and I am a big, big bull on this Blastoise. Next card right here is another one, the Zapdos Zapdos card. Now, it was not on the list last month, but it has already been on the list 3 times throughout the course of the year. So even though you don't see a star there, don't let that fool you. This is absolutely a 3+ hero because it has been on here more than 3 times over the course of 2025. And everything that I just said about the previous 2 cards, I could say about this one. I think it's really cool too, how I had earlier talked about the Legendary Birds card, that stained glass card, right? How that one was on here 2 consecutive months. That card's going for like $100 now. And then you've got the Zapdos card right here. Obviously, you got all the Legendary Birds here yet again, although it's not named there at the top of the card. It's coming from a phenomenal set in 151 with abysmal gem rates. Like, so much to love about this card coming in at $55. And obviously, again, the market loves it because they're buying it up left and right. Next card here, we got Misty's Psyduck, and Misty's Psyduck is the Destined Rivals card that has been able to retain its place on the list, and look at what the booster boxes have done there, all the way up to $300 now. We talked a lot about on this channel. We were watching how the booster box prices were coming down. It started to reach a really affordable or reasonable price point when it was in like the $245, $250 price point. We talked about how Stellar Crown was going for $225. Why would you pay $225 for a Stellar Crown booster box when you could have picked up Destined Rivals for $25 more? But who's to say? Whatever makes you happy, collect it. But I thought this was cool. The thing that I like about this card a lot is obviously it started off incredibly high in terms of pricing, but look at the way it's been able to hold its water right at that $52, $53, $54 price point. It's selling with a high degree of velocity. People are obviously into Destined Rivals. I think the artwork on this is fantastic. Misty is one of, hands down, my favorite trainers out there. I have a redheaded daughter, so anytime I see Misty, I think of her. It's been on this list for 2 consecutive months. I don't think this card is going anywhere anytime soon. I think a lot of people love the artwork. Destined Rivals is going to be the, as far as I'm concerned, regular series set from the Scarlet and Violet era. So lots to love about this card. And I do think we'll eventually start to see some of those other Destined Rival cards start to make their way up here. I think a lot of people are probably letting the market settle a little bit in terms of the singles cards, try and find, you know, a more approachable price point for them. But I think once they start to settle a little bit, we'll see them on here, no questions asked, because the artwork is just so incredibly fantastic. So the final one and the #1 card that is on the list this month, no surprise, it comes from 151, and this is the Venusaur right here. So the sales volume has just been insane. I mean, you can see that in 1 week, it was all the way up, and 120 copies of this were sold on TCGPlayer. I mean, people have been snatching this up left and right, and it's because when you think about the big 3, obviously you got Charizard #1, you got Blastoise #2, then you have the Venusaur coming in at #3, and then that Zapdos was coming in at #4. So, I mean, just a great card, stunning artwork. I really love this artwork. You know, we have one. My daughter pulled it. The centering was trashed. There was print lines all over it. She begged me to send it into PSA, and we do that sometimes. Sometimes we just send cards into PSA to encapsulate a memory. Came back a PSA 7 and we pulled it straight from a pack, but that goes to show you like the odds of getting these things in that awesome, pristine PSA 10 type condition is very, very, very hard. So these cards I think have a lot of room to run, like I've already said. I think they're fantastic from an artwork perspective. 151 brought a ton of people back to the hobby, and I think it's going to be viewed very favorably for a long time, which is, hey, that's everything you're looking for when it comes to price appreciation here in the Pokemon space. So that's it. Those are the top 10 cards that we're selling with the highest degree of velocity on TCGPlayer. We do this every single month. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you had fun. I hope all of my silly stars and words and all of that helps to bring a little bit more clarity to this, because at the end of the day, I just want you to make the best decisions you can with the best information possible. And if you did enjoy it, hit that subscribe button or give us a thumbs up. Those 2 small things go a long way in helping my small channel out, and I really appreciate it. All right, everybody, I'll talk to you later. Thank you. Bye.